Hey guys, welcome back to the Existential Vegan. Today I want to show you how you can have a continuous supply of broccoli sprouts without the use of a refrigerator. Now what we're going to be doing is a 7-day rotation. It sounds complicated, but it's going to be very easy, and I'm going to show you step by step. What you're going to need are broccoli seeds, which are on the left there, a couple of mason jars, and 2 sprouting lids. And you probably know a sprouting lid is just any kind of a lid that'll fit your mason jar that has fine holes in it. Now most of you guys know the importance of sulforaphane in your diet, how it's an anti-cancer compound, and that broccoli sprouts have 50 times the sulforaphane as regular raw broccoli. And some of you may know that sprouts are an important part of the diet in the Hippocrates Institute, and if you search the Hippocrates Institute or Brian Clement on YouTube, you'll see all kinds of informative stuff on sprouts. But let's call this day 1, and I'll show you what to do. Let's go to the sink. Okay guys, I want to emphasize, you can start this process at any time. You can start it before bedtime, you can start it in the afternoon, your day off, whatever. It happens to be Sunday, a cool Sunday, at about 11 o'clock. But what you're going to do is you're going to take a clean jar, you've cleaned it already and stuff, and I labeled this jar 1. You're going to take your mason jar and you're going to put in 2 tablespoons of broccoli seeds. Okay? And then you're going to fill it up with water. We're going to give them a rinse. We're going to put our lid on here. Of course, now I'm having a hard time with the lid because we're making a video. There we go. Swirl it around, and we're going to drain it. This is not complicated at all. But this stage is probably the most complicated because it takes 2 steps. We've rinsed them. Now we're going to fill this jar up with water. And I'm rotating the jar just to get the seeds off the sides. We're going to fill this with water. That's good. And we're going to put this jar in a dark place and we're going to let it soak for 8 hours. So there we have it up in the closet, guys. I'm going to set my alarm and I'll see you in 8 hours. Okay guys, so it's been 8 hours, and as you can see, some of these seeds are already starting to sprout. So now what you're going to want to do is we're going to want to empty the water that's in here. Okay. I'm going to dump it. Now we're going to rinse the seeds. So, and what I'm doing now, we're going to be doing every night before bed and in the mornings when you wake up. Twice a day. See how I'm running the water in there and I'm turning the jar? And all you need to do is rinse these twice a day, morning and night. If you happen to be home and you want to do it a third time, that's fine. But there we go. We've just filled it up with water. And we're just going to dump the water out. I kind of like to do it slowly, kind of spreads the seeds around on the side of the jar. And I'll even turn the jar a little bit to spread them out too. This is more effective like during day 2, day 3. Okay. Okay guys, and finally, you're just going to want to sit your mason jar into a bowl, something like that. And that way the water will drain out overnight completely. And you're done. And like I said, we'll be doing this twice a day. And I will put this back in the closet. And you can put it in any dark space. Okay? We'll see you at the beginning of day 2. Okay guys, it's morning, day 2. Let's go get our sprouts out of the closet here. And we'll go to the sink and give them a rinse. Okay guys, morning, day 2. We're going to give our sprouts a rinse. Rotate the bottle, the jar I mean. I'm going to swirl it around a bit. I'm going to document every time we do this so you guys can see the change. Some of you maybe never even seen sprouts before. But look how they're starting to grow. Isn't that pretty? So, that's all you do, morning and night. Like I said, we're going to do this twice a day. And if it happens to be your day off and you want to do it again, midday, you want to do it 3 times, that's okay. But you really only need to do it morning and night. And then we'll sit it back into our bowl. And I'll see you tonight. Okay guys, so now it's the evening of day 2. I've dumped the excess water outside of my bowl, and now we're giving the sprouts a rinse. And I want you guys to have a little look at it here. Check that out. Give them a little swirl, and we'll slowly dump this out and rotate. And just in case anyone's interested, if you want to learn more about sprouts on YouTube, a couple of good places to go is get onto YouTube and search. You can search Brian Clement. He's the head of the Hippocrates Health Institute, and there's all kinds of videos out there about sprouting and lots of information on the topic. Like I said, their institute is they eat a lot of sprouted foods, not just broccoli sprouts, but all kinds of different sprouts. And also search Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Now this lady has a PhD, I'm not sure, in some kind of health science, but she is extremely bright. She's almost too bright for me. She's just
I can hardly understand half the stuff she says. But you want to learn about sprouts and sulforaphane? Check her out. Okay, guys, we're going to put this in our bowl and let it sit overnight, and I'll see you in the morning.
Okay guys, so here we are at the morning of day 3, and instead of you watching me rinse the seeds as usual and put them in the closet, I just thought I'd show you how beautiful they look. Look at them starting to germinate and grow. And I just want to let you know that there's lots of different seeds you can sprout, not just broccoli. Here, let's give them a spin. Here's a pic of a blend of seeds called Ancient Eastern Blend, and they're full of seeds I can't even pronounce. But here's another pic of a blend of seeds called Sandwich Booster, and they contain clover and alfalfa, radish and mustard. But back to the task at hand. These are the beautiful broccoli seeds, and we're going to put them back in the closet, and I will see you tonight, the evening of day 3. Hang in there, things are going to get exciting. Okay guys, it's now the evening of day 3. I've already rinsed and drained number 1. You guys have seen me do that a few times now. Now this is important. This is when you want to add your 2 tablespoons of broccoli seeds to jar number 2. And we're going to go to the sink and we're going to fill it up with water and rinse it and then fill it up again. Okay guys, so it's important to remember, if you're going to do this at home, jar number 1 has been rinsed the way we always do it. Jar number 2, we've just put in 2 tablespoons of broccoli seeds. We filled the jar up with water and drained it, and we filled it up with water again. And so we're going to put both of these in the closet. Number 2 is going to stay full of water and it's going to soak overnight. I'll see you in the morning. Okay guys, so it's the morning of day 4, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with jar number 2, the one we let soak overnight. And what we're going to do is we're going to dump it. And basically we're doing the same thing we did the morning of day 1 with jar number 1, our first jar. Okay, so we dump that just so you can see again. We're going to rinse these. And while we're rinsing this, let's talk about the age-old question, how do you make sprouts taste good? Because a lot of people don't like the taste of sprouts, and honestly, I'm not a huge fan. I mean, they don't taste the best. So my answer to that is, 1, we're grown-ups. Everything doesn't have to taste like a chocolate bar or a lollipop. But 2, there are quite a few ways you can eat these. First of all, I didn't know this, but apparently you can juice these. So I just bought a new juicer, so we'll see if that's true or not. We're not going to do that in this vid, but I kind of splurged. I got an Omega juicer when it was on sale, so I got a good deal. So, but you can juice them apparently. You can put them in wraps. I can see these going in a hummus wrap with tomato and cucumber, and and you put some sprouts in there. I can see that tasting good. Okay, so we've drained our second jar. And we're going to put it in our bowl. Now here's where it gets interesting. Our first jar. Let's just sit this over here. Our first jar, jar number 1. This is the morning of day 4. Let's rinse jar number 1. And look at these sprouts. And you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to start eating these now. First of all, let's rinse them. And this kind of relates to how you can, another way to eat sprouts is I'm going to throw some of these in my smoothie. Now you might say, but they're not completely germinated, existential vegan. You're not going to get 50% of the all of the nutrients, the 50 times the sulforaphane. Well, I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe it's true. Maybe I'll only get half. Maybe I'll only get 25 times the sulforaphane. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't believe everything has to be 100%. My body's going to take what it needs out of this. I'm only going to grab some of it anyways. But I just don't believe in the purity mindset that everything has to be 100%. So, let's turn this off so you can hear me better. And like I said, I'm going to take some of these and put them in a smoothie. So I'm going to pull some out. Hard to do with one hand. There we go. That's good enough. And since I have the jar open here, I'm going to give them one more rinse. I just wanted you to see the whole process. I'm not going to show you this every time. Now, I have a 10-hour day. So, at the end of the evening, these are going to be much bigger. And I could have used them, then. Or you could start your day one, you could start it in the evening. And these would have been a little bit bigger. It all kind of depends on your schedule. But, you know what? I'm happy with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse the seeds out. I'm just going to rinse them with my hand. And I'm going to throw these in my smoothie. And there they go. I'm going to blend those up in the smoothie. And these are going to go back into the closet. And remember, any dark place will do. Okay? I'll see you tonight, the evening of day 4. Okay guys, it is now the evening of day 4. And I just finished a 10-hour shift, but that's okay. But let's do our thing here. So, I'm going to dump the excess water that's drained out of jar number 1. We're going to rinse it. Now, I know you guys got the picture. You know what's going on. You may not need to see this, but I wanted to document the whole 7 days for you. You get an idea how they're growing, how some of the seeds don't even take. You can kind of see that. That's okay. There's a good look for you. They're growing nicely. So let's rinse those. There we go. We'll put them back in our jar or in our bowl.
This is jar number 2 that we started this morning. You can already see those starting to germinate. Isn't that cool? So let's rinse this one out, and we'll talk more about sprouts while we're doing this. I remember seeing a video by Dr. Greger where he said sprouts are probably the most economical of the superfoods because you can buy big bags on Amazon for cheap. And up in the corner, I'll show you a couple bags that I bought. So we'll insert that pic in for you. But yeah, you can go onto Amazon and get, good sized bags for not much money. So we're just finishing up jar number 2 here. Twirling it while we pour the excess water out. Nice. And we'll put that into our bowl. And we'll put those in the closet for overnight. I'll see you in the morning. Okay guys, so here we are. It's the morning of day 5. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with jar number 2. And we're going to dump the excess water out of the bowl. There's not much in that one. And we're going to rinse it. And while we're doing that, guys, let's talk about where we can buy sprouting supplies. So we'll shake that up and rinse it. But I've actually bought sprouting supplies at Veg Fest, your local Veg Fest. Local health food stores will have them. And sometimes your local markets will also have sprouting supplies. Okay, so let's dump this out here. And we'll put this back in our bowl. Okay, let's do the first jar that we started with. Jar number 1. Dump it. Look how big those are getting. Isn't that cool? Well, let's give that a rinse. And of course, if you want to buy sprouting supplies, Amazon's a good place to go. I bought 12 wide-mouth mason jars for $13. And I bought 6 lids, not these lids, some steel lids, but I bought 6 lids for $27, and that's including tax and stuff too. And that's a good price because that's under $5 a lid, and that's pretty good. So Amazon is also a good place to get your supplies. So let's have a closer look. Look at that, that's awesome. Okay, we'll give that a dump. And you guessed it, I'm gonna grab some of these and throw them in my smoothie. Yeah, that's a good amount right there. So I'm just going to sit those off to the side. And I'll rinse them. You've seen me do that before. You don't need to see me do that again. But I'll rinse those and toss them in my smoothie. And since I have the thing open here, I'm just going to do this again. Put the lid on. Okay. Into our bowl. And both of these guys will go back in the closet. See you tonight, guys. Okay, guys, so here it is, the end of day 5. And let's see how everything is progressing. This is jar number 1. We're going to dump the excess out. We're going to rinse it just like we always do. And I just got off a 10-hour shift at work. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying. I'm trying to remember, you know, I think it was Khalil Gibran in the book The Prophet. He said something like, "He who hates work hates his own life." Well, you guys should Google that and see if I got it right. I haven't read the book for 30 years. But let's give this a good rinse. This is jar number 1. And these things are growing nicely. See that? Okay. You know, I know it's monotonous, but I want you guys to see every step of the process. So, into the bowl it goes. Jar number 2. Look at that. And if you guys want more information about sprouting, just go onto YouTube, you know, about the health benefits and stuff like that. Go onto YouTube and search. You can search Dr. Greger or nutritionfacts.org and put the keyword sprouts in there, and you'll get all kinds of videos. You could also search Dr. Rhonda Patrick. I can't remember the name of her channel, but you'll get all kinds of videos from her too. She's really smart. And also search Brian Clement and or the Hippocrates Institute, and he has lots to say about sprouts. Lots of good stuff. Check that out. That's only been like a day. That's fantastic. So we'll give that a rinse. Like I said, slow. I like to do it slowly. And turn it a little bit. Kind of spread the seeds out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to put this back in the bowl, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, the morning of day 6. Okay guys, it's the morning of day 6, and I'm just rinsing out jar number 2. And look at how that's growing. Yeah, those seeds are growing nicely. So let's finish off rinsing jar number 2. These will be ready to start eating in a couple days. Into the bowl it goes. Now check out jar number 1. Dump the excess water out. Check that out. Let's give that a rinse. You can see not all the seeds germinate. That's okay. That's to be expected. That's what I found in my experience anyways. Let's give this a rinse. I'm going to dump it out and take some for my smoothie. And then I want to talk to you for a second. So guys, I just wanted to show you the smoothie I'm making here. It's a nice cleansing smoothie. It's got grapes, 3/4 of a pound of spinach, apples, a cucumber from our garden, and some berries. Now, what I'm going to do is, I took out a handful of sprouts. And first of all, you can see I got a good amount left over here. These are growing for the future. I got at least 1 or 2 days worth here, and these are going to grow some more. But something to note is I've been eating these every day. But you don't have to. You don't have to grab some. If I didn't want sprouts this morning, I would have just rinsed the jar out, put it back, and I'd have more the next day. You know what I mean? It's a very good way of budgeting your sprouts, so to speak. But yeah, they're on hand when you need it, and they're there if you don't need it. So, okay, guys, I will see you tonight. Okay, guys, so here we are, the evening of day 6, and check out these 2 jars. Now, I've already I'm in the process of rinsing them, so they're both full of water. But look how much jar number 2 has, how the sprouts have grown. That's pretty crazy, eh? So that saves a little bit of time too. So let's dump these. This is jar number 1. We're going to rinse these. We'll put them in our bowl. And jar number 2. Yeah, those are growing nicely. And you know what I like about this method, guys? Is that you don't have to worry about storage. You know, you don't have to worry about mold, you know, because, you know, you're rinsing them yourself. You know, you're in control of everything. How clean your jars are, how many times you rinse, and all that stuff. And like, I researched the stuff on YouTube and Google, and they all had different things to say about how you store this in the fridge. And, you know, and this takes the issue of storage right off the table. You know, you just grab them while they're growing. As you saw, jar number 1 is like they're practically fully mature. So there you go, guys. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, guys, here we are at the morning of day 7. It's actually a very warm September 15th, which is unusual for this time of year. Usually here in London, Canada, it's cold and rainy. But here we are. We're going to rinse jar number 2. Look at that. I'm going to be able to start grabbing from these soon. Tomorrow or the next day. But they're growing nicely. Check those out. So we'll give those a rinse. And soon we'll be starting this whole cycle over again. Let me show you the first jar. We're going to give them a rinse. And I might pull these out. I'm not going to have a smoothie this morning, but I might pull these out later and use them in a wrap. You know? And a thing to remember, guys, is, you know, you have access to sprouts every day. No need for a refrigerator. But you don't have to eat them every day. You might want to say, you know, I don't feel like eating sprouts today. And, you know, that's fine. Because I remember reading a book called Whole by the esteemed nutritionist T. Colin Campbell. And one thing that stuck out in my mind was there's a dirty little secret. And I remember he wrote that. There's a dirty little secret in the field of nutrition. And it's that, you know, you don't have to eat 100% pure, you know, all the time. You don't have to get every nutrient every day, because your body will take what it needs, you know, when it needs it, and it will expel what it doesn't need. And I think that kind of explains why there's many meat eaters out there that live long and healthy lives. Yeah, you know, the less meat you eat, the better. But, yeah, that's, I remember he wrote that. He said it's the nutritional scientist's dirty little secret. So here we go, guys. Now, I don't feel like a smoothie today. Like I said, I'll probably put this in a wrap later, and I'll show you a picture of the wrap. But I'm going to put this in the sun and green them up a little bit. I'll show you. So here we go, guys. I just sat them on the windowsill. They're going to get a little sun. I'll probably leave them here for, I don't know, maybe 4 hours. And then I'm just going to put them back in the closet. And like I said, I might have some of these or all of these in a wrap. Okay, see you tonight, the evening of day 7. Okay, guys, here we are. We're at the end of the line. It's the evening of day 7, or you can consider it the night before day 1, and you'll see what I mean. So here we are with jar number 2. We're going to dump the water out, and we're going to give them a rinse. And it's been a long, meticulous video, but I promised you guys I wanted to show you every step. And this is the last of the steps. And as you can see, these are ready to grab. I can grab these tomorrow morning, some of these, and throw them in a smoothie. Or if I don't feel like eating sprouts tomorrow, the next day I'll grab a bigger handful. Okay, let's give these a good rinse. And we'll put these in our bowl, and they'll go in the closet overnight. And this is kind of neat. Jar number 1. It's empty because earlier today I had a burrito with some sprouts, and Susan had some sprouts in her salad. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 tablespoons of broccoli sprouts, pour them in our jar. We're going to fill this with water. Swirl them around and give them a rinse. Put our cap on. drain the jar. We're going to fill this up with water again. And then we're going to let this jar full of water and sprout seeds sit in the closet overnight. And then you guys know what to do after that. We're starting the whole week over again. But actually, you know, a good time to start this whole process, you know, especially if you're working the next day or whatever, is to start the whole thing like I'm doing now in the evening. There we go. Jar number 1 with a fresh 2 tablespoons of seeds. We're going to leave it like that. And we're going to put these 2 jars in the closet overnight. Okay, let's do a summary. Okay guys, so this is the end. It's been a 7-day rotation. I've showed you how to make have a continuous supply of broccoli sprouts without the need of a refrigerator and a salad spinner and worrying about storage and this and that. Now, if you're in a household that has more than one person that eats sprouts, or you like a lot of sprouts and you want to have a variety, you can always throw a 3rd jar into the equation. Check out this. I've just started this jar of ancient blend. And doesn't that look beautiful? I'll be giving these a rinse, but yeah, you can always throw a 3rd jar into the equation and you'll have all kinds of sprouts to throw in your smoothies or whatever you want to do. So I hope you guys have found this informative. I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun week, and I hope it's helped you guys. Have a great week, guys. See you next time.